Welcome everybody to the Geek Dad Report versus the NFL. I'm Brian West, and tonight I'm going to be making all my Week 11 predictions of the 2018 NFL season. But before we get to that, a quick recap, something of Week 10. I last week chose very poorly, and anybody who bet their hard-earned money off my picks, I apologize in advance. This is why we say on this show, do not use this as a gambling site. We know almost nothing. In fact, the only person who got anything right on the show last week isn't even old enough to gamble. I've been kicking my co-host Ryan's ass in my picks all season long. We have a running tally. I'm like a million games ahead of him. And so him in a desperation move called in the lefty and brought in his small underage daughter to make his picks for him because he wasn't man enough to face me again. And I'm not gonna lie, his daughter just kicked the crap out of me. She got like 11 games right. I got 6. It's pretty bad. But luckily for me, my lead has not been diminished because I'm putting an asterisk by those selections because Ryan didn't choose them himself. So yeah, anyway, I'm still doing really well in the standings, and I've been doing all right. Even though 6 wins. 6 wins last week. What was that? Last week was a terrible week. If you gamble or you are like in a betting pool at work, or you just like making picks for the hell of it, we all took a pounding. Just a proverbial bloodbath. I think you had to be like a 7-year-old girl to make these selections correctly because nobody else is going to do it because our brains tell us, oh yeah, the Patriots, they should just roll into Tennessee and kick their asses. Well, we'd be wrong because that's not what happened. I know what you're saying. The Seattle Seahawks, Brian's blessed, most favorite team ever, best team in the NFL. No, they're not. But, they are in my mind. They're just going to roll the Rams. I mean, who cares if the Rams are like the best team in the NFL? Nobody cares about that. Psh. Seattle had it, and then they didn't have it. And they lost again 2 weeks in a row. It's a fucking travesty. Sorry for the language, but I'm very angry right now. I'm about ready to pack it in and mail this season in. Pete Carroll! I'm glad we can run the ball 700 yards a game, but if we're passing for 36 yards in the fourth quarter, we're not going to win any games. We no longer have the 2012 Seahawks defense. We got these guys who are good, but not good enough to run 47 times a game against the Rams, who throw it to wide open receivers on every play. How does that happen? Ugh, God. Does anybody else get play caller envy? When you watch the Rams, you're like, oh, God, wish my offensive coordinator was McVay. That guy's really good. The Rams, they're really good. Seahawks, I'm a little worried about my Seahawks. I'm not going to lie. Usually I'm very optimistic. This week, it's a big one against Green Bay we got going on this week. I mean, we're going to talk about that here in a minute, but I don't know what to say. All right? I don't know what to say. In 2 weeks, you could have the meltdown episode where Brian just takes all his jerseys and sets them on fire and does a river dance on them. Talks about fire the coordinator, fire the coach, fire everyone except for the offensive line coach. That guy's a lot better this year than old Tom Cable. Solari, you're in. Tom Cable, you're out. Thank God. But God, you know the worst part is literally all my friends are like either Packers fans or Steelers fans. They all fucking from Seattle, Washington, but somehow they just are on these fan bases where they're like, oh, we've been great forever. What do you mean we? You don't live in Green Bay? You don't live in Pittsburgh? We. New rule. If you're in the NFL, if you're a fan, and you have never lived in the city of your team, you don't get to say we. I'm a little frustrated. Not only are my Hawks not doing well, stupid Steelers. Well, at least the Packers aren't doing well. Steelers doing pretty well. Ugh, hate the Steelers too. God, Big Ben. You know what? Jacksonville, you have my permission to just give Big Ben an elbow to his big dome. Ugh, God. I hate Steelers. Yes, I'm petty and I'm angry that my Hawks are on a 2-game losing streak and the stupid Steelers are doing good. Stupid Steelers. I don't care. We were robbed in 2005 and I ain't ever fucking letting it go. And if you ask me to, I'm not going to do it. until Big Ben retires, and then maybe I'll think about it, but probably not. Screw him and screw that team. And screw the Rams, too, and Aaron Donald. Punk. He's really good, though. Put his helmet on. Anybody else see that after the game? He takes his jersey off, and then he puts his helmet back on and runs out to try and pick a fight with one of our offensive linemen. What a jerk. Not our fault that our offensive line's really good, and they slapped you around a lot. I mean, what are you mad about? You got like 5 sacks on 3rd downs. Just pretty much wrecked my team as always. Sorry, everybody. I'm a little angry right now. A little bitter. 4-5. We're not doing well. We're losing at home. Losing tough games. Ugh, really tough games. And like I said, all my freaking friends and family members who are from the state of Washington, living like Seattle their whole damn lives, are all like, oh, my Patriots are doing really well. We're going back to the Super Bowl. First of all, they're not your Patriots. Second of all, you're not going to the Super Bowl. Patriots suck. Every team that starts with a P sucks. Patriots sucks. Pittsburgh sucks. Packers, I'm doing a lot of this. You're getting a lot of fart sound effects tonight. That's how I feel about this season so far. Fart noises. That is pretty much my summing up of the 2018 season so far. All right, well, let's just hope the Hawks win a few games and you guys are getting much more positive, Brian. Right now, you're just getting frustrated, Brian. Russell Wilson, it's really good. And Pete Carroll's like, listen, Russell, I want you to throw the ball exactly 9 times all game because they'll never see it coming. We're going to rush for 700 yards in 3 chunk increments. Schottenheimer, you need to play Madden and dial up at least 7 plays that go over 10 yards because I think our entire playbook is 5 yards or less. I mean, literally, it's run left, run right, up the middle, pass for 3 yards, or 1 deep pass to Lockett. That is literally our entire playbook. There you go. Mike McCarthy, if you're watching, I've just spoiled the Seahawks' entire game plan. Be creative. Come on, Pete. I mean, I don't mind the fake extra or fake onside kick. I guess it wasn't onside. It wasn't a fake. It's a fake kick that was an onside kick. I don't mind that. But really, Janikowski, you kick it to literally the only guy there. There's one guy standing within a 10-yard radius, and you kick it directly to him. And then I got to listen to Tony Romo's dumbass like, oh, the Rams knew this was coming, and they've been practicing for it all week, clearly. No! Janikowski just kicked it to the fucking wrong place. Anyway, how's you guys' teams doing? I mean, my team's 4-5. You think they were like 1-9 or something stupid. I think the math adds up. But anyway, sorry. A little frustration has boiled over, and this is my safe place to talk about these things. Not that I need a safe place, but I know all you guys like the NFL, and I know you're probably all at least laughing at me like, oh my God, these damn Seattle homers. They're the worst. Well, you know what? We're not the worst. We're one of the worst, but we are not the worst. So, you know who's the worst? People who live in Seattle and call themselves Patriot fans or Packers fans or Pittsburgh fans. All those P teams. All right, moving on. Anyway, that was week 10. So how was your guys' week 10? Probably if you're one of the teams that won and you're cruising like you're Kansas City, you're probably like, ha, sucks to be in Seattle, Kansas City all the way, right? And probably you guys are doing really well. Congratulations. I don't even talk about it. Anyway, all right, so like I said earlier, before we move on to our picks for the week, we are not a betting site, so if you want to bet along with us, along with me, I will give you guys Ryan's picks at the end of the show. Go ahead, at your own risk. Go right ahead and bet with us, but we do not claim to be professionals, and most of the time I do not even claim to be competent in the things that I say. So I just tend to talk a lot, ramble, pretend like I know what I'm talking about. Most of the time it works out for me well in life, but, you know, who knows? We'll see what happens. Anyway, you've been warned. Everybody else, you should totally make my picks. If you don't have any money on the line, bet with me. I've been doing pretty good all season except for last week. That was really bad. But like I said, anybody who did good that was not an underage girl, then, you know, good for you. You're the best. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure it was all 7 and 8-year-old children that picked the winners last week, which is why Ryan gets no credit. All right, moving on. First game of the week. It's a big one. Game of the week. It's the only game. You could pretty much shut off the NFL after this game for the whole rest of the weekend. You know what? Watch the Thursday night game. Every other game is going to be terrible comparative to it, and just take the whole weekend off. Just take the weekend off. Just celebrate a Seahawks victory. Spoiler alert, Seahawks going to win. I'm just saying that right now. But the Packers are heading to Seattle to play the Seattle Seahawks at CenturyLink Field. This is going to be a win. Why? Well, because if it's not, our season is pretty much fucking over. That's why. That's why it's going to be a win. The Packers are almost in the same position we are in, except for they don't have a 9-1 team in their division, which is nice. But, it's kind of almost lose or go home for the Seahawks and the Packers. Neither team has been really great this year. They're both kind of in that mediocre vein. Packers and Seattle coming in with, I think, the 14th and 15th ranked defenses. Packers offense, passing attack is much better than the Seahawks. So it'll be interesting. We'll see. I think the teams are pretty evenly matched. The one thing I will say going for Seattle is that we have the best win record in the NFL since 2010 in primetime games. This is a primetime game, and it's not easy traveling across the country on a short week for a Thursday night game. It's been overwhelmingly favorable to the home teams and not the visiting teams. So for those facts alone and the fact that Seattle is the greatest franchise they ever graced the NFL, and of course they have the best fans who never waver. Never. Sometimes. But I'm going to say the Seattle Seahawks. We're going to win this one. Because if we don't, thank God Ryan will be hosting next week because I'll just be throwing stuff and rampaging like a lunatic. Anyway, here we go. Sunday games. First up, Bengals, Ravens, conference, AFC, what is that? The AFC worst division. I don't know. You know what? Both these teams are garbage. The Bengals, half their team is like injured. They're firing assistant coaches because they're all afraid they're going to lose their jobs. Ravens are playing at home. Basically, if they lose another one, they're pretty much out. Flacco may not get the start. This game has just a look of I can't even pick them. I bet you Vegas has this is a pick 'em game. They have no idea who's going to win. So I'm going to go with the home team and say the Ravens. Screw it. The Ravens are going to win. Why? I don't know. Because they're home. We'll go with a lot of home favorites this week. Cowboys are traveling to Atlanta to play the Falcons, who lost to Cleveland. Pretty much if the Falcons don't win out, they are done for the season. They are playing at home. They are going to be licking their wounds, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be fired up. The Cowboys look pretty good. They beat the Eagles this last week. Who saw that coming? I didn't see that coming. That being said, I still think the Falcons are the better team. I don't think the Cowboys are very good, and if the Falcons lose again, they're done. So I'm going to say the Falcons. I'll take the Falcons at home. Tampa Bay is traveling to the New York Giants in a battle of just epically bad proportions. Both these teams are crap, absolute crap. But I'm going to say Tampa Bay. Why not? I keep picking them, and they keep making me look real stupid. But I'm going to stay on the Tampa Bay pirate ship. Tampa Bay, all the way. Oof. Pittsburgh is heading to Jacksonville. And you know what? I was going to pick Pittsburgh because they are just really good right now, and I freaking hate them. But they're really good right now. And I want to keep my lead up against Ryan. But you know what I like even more? I like rooting against the Steelers and then laughing at everyone when they lose. When they lose. Plus, all my stupid friends who like the Steelers keep telling me to root against them because every time I root for the Steelers, they lose. And every time I root against them, they win. So, you know what? This is for you guys. I'm picking Jacksonville. Jacksonville has had the Steelers number. If Jacksonville loses this, they are effectively done for this season, and they're playing at home. This is a big, big game for them. And they're coming off like a 2 or 3 game losing streak, so it's got to stop at some point. Pittsburgh's going to be feeling real fat and high and mighty after they trolloped, is that the right word? I don't know. They just trounced the Panthers on Thursday Night Football. So I'm going to say that Jacksonville's pulling the upset this week. Next up, Tennessee is heading to Washington to play the Native Americans. I can't get a feel for either one of these teams. Every time I bet for the Texans, they win. Every time I bet against them, they lose. No, that's not right. Every time I bet on them, they win. You know what? I don't know. See, they've got me so discombobulated. I don't even know if I do bet on them and they do well or I don't. I just don't know. And Washington, every time I think, okay, they're actually a pretty good team, they just stink. So you know what? Screw it. I'm going to say the Texans. I've been picking them most of the season. I think they got some talent. I'm going to go with the most talented team, and that is the Texans. And plus, the Redskins have a racist name, and they should change it. So I'm going to say the Texans are going to beat the Washington Native Americans. Tennessee is heading to Indianapolis to play the Colts. Tennessee coming off a big win over New England. The Colts are actually getting pretty good all of a sudden, and they're playing at home. But Tennessee's pretty tough. They play a tough defense. But I think the Colts are kind of on a little bit of a roll here, and they're at home. So I'm going to say the Colts are going to pull this one out. Next up, the Panthers are heading to Detroit. Detroit is garbage, and they're not going to win any more games. The Panthers just got obliterated by Pittsburgh, and they are going to be hyping mad. So I'm going to say that Panthers are going to knock off the Lions at home. Denver is heading to the Los Angeles Chargers of San Diego. And Denver, I think Denver's done. I think they're in a division they can't win. I think they don't have enough talent, and I think they've had some injuries piling up. And I think the Chargers are peaking at the right time. They are a talented team. I saw them firsthand. They are good, and they can win games. I'm going to say San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers are going to beat their division rival, the Broncos. Next up, Oakland is playing in the desert. Well, they're always playing in the desert because they're going to be Las Vegas here soon. But they're playing Arizona, and both these teams are bad. I don't know who to pick. There's just so many bad games this week. Just bad teams playing each other. So these things could literally go either way. But I think Oakland is completely quit on their coach, and I do think Arizona is still pretty feisty. So I'm going to say Arizona's going to win this one. Philadelphia is heading to New Orleans to play the best team in the NFL right now, the Saints. Eagles coming off a tough loss against the Cowboys, but I just don't think the Eagles have enough firepower. The Saints are rolling, and they are really, really good, especially at home. I'm going to say the Saints are going to beat the Eagles. Next up, the Vikings are going to face the monsters of the Midway, Chicago Bears. The Bears are pretty good, but so are the Vikings. Both teams are good at playing in cold weather games. I'm going to say the Vikings are going to win this one, even though the Bears have been playing really good, and they probably should win at home, but I think that division is just going to beat itself to a 9-7 record is going to be their division winner. So I think the Vikings are going to handle the Bears. The Bears are really good, but I think the Vikings have the better team. So I don't think the travel is going to be that much, and I don't think the outdoor for Chicago is going to be that much of an advantage for them. So I'm going to say the Vikings are going to win that one. And then finally, last game of the week, it wasn't going to be in Mexico City, and now they're moving it to LA because Mexico City field has been obliterated, apparently. The Chiefs are going to Los Angeles to play the Los Angeles St. Louis Rams. The Rams are really good, but so are the Chiefs. I think the Rams are going to be a little beat up after playing Seattle. That was a very physical game, and I think the Chiefs are a real deal, and I think the Rams have no defense. This is I'd like to say, can I take the over in this? I don't know what it is, but if it's less than 200 points, I'd take the over. This is going to be probably a 48-44 game. I'm going to say the last team with the ball is going to win, and I do think. Oh God, do I get to bet the Rams? You know what? I'm going to take the Rams. They are really good, and they were able to beat Seattle. Any team that can beat Seattle deserves my respect. I mean, I don't respect the Rams. I hate them, but I'll take the Rams. Screw it. Whatever. They're playing at home, and they're just on a roll. So, whatever. Rams. Why not? All right, and real quick before I get out of here, those are my picks for the week. I'm going to give you guys Ryan's picks. He probably made all really bad picks. I know he picked the Packers. What a loser. Oh, yeah, he picked pretty much completely against me, so it should be another interesting week. Let's see here. He picked the Packers, the Titans, the Giants, the Steelers, the Panthers, the Cowboys, the Ravens, the Texans, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Saints, the Bears, and the Chiefs. He literally picked almost every game opposite of me, so it should be an interesting week. Hopefully he made these picks and not his small little teeny daughter who knows more about football than he does. But we'll see. I'd hate to have to put an asterisk to yet another week of football for you, Ryan, but whatever. But you know what? I have such a lead. I'll give you the 6 games because, I'm a nice guy, and even then, I'm still kicking your ass. And I'm going to kick your ass again this week, and hopefully your team kicks ass this week unless you're one of those Packers fans. In that case, you guys are going down. Woo! Go Hawks! Ha-ha! Until next week, everybody, watch football. Root for the Seahawks, and hopefully you're not one of those fans of one of those teams with a P name, because if you are, you're the worst. Until next time, everybody, go Hawks. Where's this stupid button to turn this disaster off? Later, everybody.